I don't want to waste my life. Like, I want to live an inspired life. Other people can live quiet lives of desperation doing shit that's unimportant, unfulfilling, unmeaningful, and not profitable. If they want to, that's fucking stupid. But lots of people do, right? If you want to achieve a life of like mastery and go do something in the world, it requires discipline, not random ass discipline like you should have cold showers for no reason. Discipline against what you took the time to define and agree was important to you. If this is important, let's do it. Hey. Dude, it's 2:22 right now. It's a totally inappropriate time for cereal.
I will disagree. I think cereal is appropriate any time, but this isn't a good time for cereal. I think it's more...
We're going to groom you to take over the business. This whole place is going to become your responsibility one day.
When I get bigger.
Yeah, a little bit bigger, but not too much bigger. How long do you want it to take?
Maybe when I'm 60 or...
Perfect. Okay, so the left-hand column represents the values, corporate values. These are defined values for the company. These are in a hierarchy, okay? These are in a hierarchy. So the lower values support the higher values. So we're going to put them in the order that you have. What is it? Okay. Did you give them any context for how we came to these? I know that you've said a couple times, let's talk about the values. And I want to make sure we have enough time. So shall we jump to that?
Totally.
We're going to blast through questions. Okay, this is going to be like a speed round.
Okay.
What's a speed VD?
Don't think about these. Everyone has a sacred space. Intimate space is between 0 and 1.5 feet.
Right.
This is weird, right? Let me just do it
Yeah,
with you so
mine's
you understand what I'm
pretty
talking about.
Yeah.
Pretty
If I were teaching you from right here,
Pretty awkward.
it's kind of awkward,
Yeah.
right? But at about 4 feet,
That's way better.
it's okay.
It's like a personal
So between
space.
1.5 foot and 4 feet is personal space,
Right.
not intimate space.
Totally.
Okay, so you have space that you would call your personal space
Right.
at like your house or at your work or both or whatever, maybe carried around.
Yeah.
In that space, what are the top 3 most important and most relevant items? What do you keep in your personal and intimate space?
Music.
Okay, this is 3 questions out of 13,
Okay.
but I'm leading us somewhere here. We're not going to do the whole thing today.
Sure.
These are the content of your life,
Right.
okay? So you've basically got business, which I know for a fact is at the top,
Yeah.
right? Family,
Yeah.
outdoors, cars.
Yeah.
Okay, fair? If I were to ask you, does this reflect
Pretty
your,
much
the
all I
majority
am.
of your identity?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's it.
so then here's what happens. This thing that is at the top here is your purpose,
Yes.
which is the summation,
Which gives
literally,
to
these
all.
3 things summate into this
Mm-hmm.
because you are magnifying it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the values of the company are family, outdoors,
No shit.
and cars.
That's,
Bam!
There you go.
Okay? Does that make sense? You're laughing because you're like, oh my god.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
Yes.
So the reason that these values mean something and moral and ethical values don't is because we are fulfilled by content in life. We're not fulfilled by morals. So morally communicated values are not resonant with our own story. So for there to be a story, it must be content. Content can be derived from behavior. People have fantasies all day long about what they think they should do, ought to, must do, supposed to do, what they think they want to do, all that shit. But if it doesn't show signs of coming true in their life, it's a fantasy, guaranteed. Most people plan and build their whole lives on their fantasies. And then they live in judgment and resentment that none of it comes true. So it's critical that we just get clear to the behaviorally demonstrated contentual values. What is most valuable? Literally that which you will purchase, what you will import, what you bring into your life. You don't bring good into your life. You always have good and bad. You don't bring nice people into your life. They always come with douchebags. Like, there's never been a time you've experienced a one-sided world. It just doesn't occur. And so morally and ethically defined values are innately one-sided and therefore incomplete, which is why most businesses are empty in their culture, because they're trying to live up to a one-sided world, which is ridiculous. So this is a story for who you are. If I asked you, what's the predominant feeling in this culture? Like, within 10 minutes, you can see it's family. The marketing needs to be built and communicated this way. The closer we are to telling this story, the more congruent you're going to be in your expression of culture and marketing communication. What an action to live our values looks like we're going to fill our shop with inventory that reflects our values. That's an action. An action to live our values is we're going to run one monthly community event in order to bring together families of people outdoors. You just told me about that charity thing. That's an action you're following to live your values of family and outdoorsmanship and cars. That's literally an action. Those workshops need to be in this list. We're not going to spend any time here on brand promise and brand KPIs. I'm just going to inform you on what they are. Brand promises are the three things. If I took a shop and I made them exactly the same as you in fulfillment in every way. So within the scope of you guys doing your job in all the ways you do it. So if every other auto shop had boutique retail, 2 hoists, your team, and delivered your products and services, anything that can be assumed that you should do in order to do that that makes you the best, they do also. Okay? A brand promise is when that's true, something tangential to what should be done to fulfill the service is being promised in order to win the customer by story or by values or by whatever. Okay? So one of ours, for example, is that we are our client's biggest fan. So we have lots of clients that do Facebook Lives and marketing and everything else. They have events and whatever. Anytime our clients have an event and we're aware of it, we're sending team to that event.
I told you I love you, I guess I was wrong. But you will never tell you I know. I took out a moment, step back out.
We're engaging in specific behaviors that we don't have to do to be a good strategic consulting firm and an IT service provider. We don't have to do those things. We're choosing to be in that space of we're going to be your biggest fan.
Welcome to Intermission.
Anytime you're not doing something scheduled and structural for the fulfillment of your duties in your role, you should be doing the one most important thing on your list of rocks that's not checked off yet. And then doing the next one, and then doing the next one, and then doing the next one, until they're all done. Completing them in order. You should not multitask. You should not multitask in a micro perspective, like here, you should not multitask. You should also not multitask from a macro perspective. You should not have ongoing concurrent projects because your attention just bounces around. Because really, you need a person whose only accountability is to answer the phone. If the phone is ringing so often, you're all interrupted, we need to hire someone to answer the fucking phone. Because that person then can't do what's being asked of them, which means you've automatically created the latency you need to prioritize and to work your work in a way that's efficient for the organization, which is efficient for the customer, right? There's this thing that happens where it appears as if the most efficient thing is to serve the customer that is the interruption. But if you go around that whole loop, that interruption fucked up the business is now depreciated. Depreciated business is less value to the customer. Interrupting you is like the worst thing I can possibly do. It's the worst because you've taken your mind out of what you were working on and you've put it into the mind of that person who you're talking to. That change is psychologically devastating. That's why Mark Zuckerberg wears the same clothes every day, because he doesn't want to have to make a decision or shift his attention.
I really want to clear my life to make it so that I have to make as few decisions as possible about anything except how to best serve this community. And there's actually a bunch of psychology theory that even making small decisions around what you wear or what you eat for breakfast or things like that, they kind of make you tired and consume your energy.
I literally hired a person to eliminate 4 people being interrupted every time the phone rings because it's not effective. You can't take scheduled, prioritized work and combine it with unscheduled, non-prioritized work and expect a single individual to not be schizophrenic. Because you're not just having the interruption. You're having the interruption, then you're having to re-triage, then you're having to reprioritize based on the triage, then you're able to get back to action. It's not as linear as you think. It's a tremendous psychological drain. Oh, it's going to be rush hour.